forgot how to jump on the rock.
I don't know what it's called because no one taught me the callouts.
Well, I'm gonna teach you guys the callouts actually starting now. Alright, it's 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna get started with stuff. If y'all either want to go into spectator or whatever, or just watch my screen.
I'll just headshot you.
Sure, that's fine. Okay.
That's so fine.
So, let's see here. Okay. So,
Oh, he's flying.
no.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to do a demo here. I have to go back into no clip. Okay. So,
You fucking turned on SVT.
basically, we're gonna start with spawn, and part 1 of this is going to be just about call out names and all that kind of stuff. So, this is spawn. Makes sense. You come out. Up here, we have heaven. This is going to be right heaven, left heaven. Coming out of spawn, you have your doors. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 respectively. Coming out of 3 or 4, you have lobby. This is lower lobby, upper lobby, main lobby. Coming into second, you still have upper lobby going into upper IT. Then you have lower IT. Over here you have second. This over here is called trapezoid. Some people like to call it hexagon or hex, but it's not. It's a trapezoid, so we'll call it trapezoid. You got pipe. This is Al-Qaeda, because soldiers like to bomb from it onto second. This is choke, and this is sewer. Coming out of choke, you have R rock. Over here, you have their rock. You have crates, red crate, blue crate. This is point. And now the corners that don't have R or their rock is called death corner. And that's just because it's slightly lower ground right here with this dip, and you get bombed, and it's a very sad time. Let's see, let's see here. Oh yeah, you also have these little areas above sewer. You can call it, let's see, above sewer. Over here, back on second, we have windows, which is right next to point, and then you also have the above forward spawn regions, right here and right here. So, yeah, that is the general callouts. Anybody have any questions so far? Great.
Yep.
Yeah, what's up?
What? So sewers? There's 2 different exits.
Yup.
Is one just main sewer and the others?
Sewer is just, we're gonna call it sewer. This whole area is
It's
sewer.
it's like entirely full sewer.
Yeah, there is no lower sewer, there is no upper sewer. It is just sewer.
Well, I mean, like, behind that box in the yellow barrel.
Over here?
Like that area.
This is part of Al-Qaeda.
That's all Al-Qaeda.
So, pretty much from, like, this corner up to this corner. You can call it Al-Qaeda. So, yeah. Anything else? Nope. Okay. So, we're gonna go over rollouts next. So, medic rollouts on this is you start by, you want to buff your demo. So when we start, everybody needs to just crouch except the demo man. Then that way I can buff him. From there, it's going to be giving the roamer a buff, give pocket a buff, to send them out through 2. So roamer, all you're gonna do is, I mean, it's up to you. I think the best way is just to jump off the wall here. You jump over here, slide up the ramp, land, wait for me to give you a full buff, and then from there you can jump from here, pogo off of here, jump onto the ramp and pretty much slide up if you can. If you can't slide up for, you know, I don't know, it's a bit of a harder jump. You can just you can just walk in pretty much. For pocket, similar idea, except you jump here, pogo off, and you're gonna land here. So Belgian isn't here right now, but the idea is the roamer should have enough of a buff to be getting in to mid already, whereas your pocket soldier, he gets a bow over here. Scouts, both scouts, I'll be cycling between scouts for buff and speed, as long as there's one scout just behind, to make sure I'm latched on to get the speed all the way through. Now would be a good time to also start using the basher a little bit, to get some uber advantage going into there. And then demo rollout is just sticky into 2, come up, sticky jump over, sticky jump into mid. So generally, Demo Man and Roamer should be the first ones getting into here. One other thing about Pocket Soldier is you can jump up here and you can jump here. If you don't want to pogo off of this, you can just take out the escape plan and run all the way here. Make sure to put it away in time to get the bow. Yeah, that is what we're sitting at so far. Yeah. So, anybody have any questions about rollout so far? Okay. One other thing I will say is roamer. You can do a, I guess, arguably easier rollout, but it is much slower. So you can jump here over to here.
I don't like it.
Yeah. So ideally, we're just gonna send you straight through to pogo. If you want to try and do another slide off of this ramp into mid, you're welcome to do so. But just, I mean, ideally, try not to get too far ahead, but you do want to be getting into mid along with our demo. So that's rollout so far. So rollouts will take us into the mid fight. Now, there are really 3 different ways for the mid fight to go. The first is if we are fast. So what that means is our demo man has gotten in extremely quickly. In that case, we can all go, let's see here, left, and bring the whole team left, and try and cut them off, pretty much. And if we go left, soldiers, make sure to take high ground up here. Scouts, same thing. Demo and pocket scout should generally be by me, but we're still pushing through as fast as we can. However, in any match I've ever played, we never really went left, just because with newer teams it is harder to do. So what we will do most of the time, and it's something that I'll let Red call out too, is we can go right. Now right is generally considered slower, but yeah, it's still just generally better in most ways. Soldiers, you want to be up on the crates. Scouts, get in their face a little bit. Demo, pretty much as soon as you get into mid, you want to start spamming out their demo with stickies and just doing as much damage. Generally, for the combo, make sure we are playing together as we rotate in. Now, the whole point of these rotating mid fights is just to catch out stragglers. So if their team isn't playing well together, the idea is to just pick them off one by one, until we eventually just keep rotating out through mid, around and around, until, you know, one team wins. Now, if we are losing, the losing conditions would be we're either down a couple players. In that case, I mean, generally either have a demo or a scout or whoever around with your med. Then we'll have to get out. Either that, or for whatever reason we'd have a massive Uber disad, which shouldn't ever happen on mid fights. It'll be even pretty much all the way, unless one of the meds gets dropped. So, but at that point, if you get a med drop, then you know, that favors the other team, whoever has the med still alive. So whenever let's see, if we keep rotating around and around and around, we can rotate to their rock, and at that point, it's okay to slow down for a second to get everybody a buff and then keep going again. But you do want to be quick about it and go as fast as possible. At that point, assume we win. If we win the mid fight, great. Leave a scout on the point to capture, and then we'll start setting up for that. So that is just generally how mid fights go. This is only for the first team to capture the mid point at the beginning of the match. So does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Awesome. So now we're going to be going over kind of the general attack defense of each point. So starting on last. So last, there's really 3 different ways to do it. I'm going to try and simplify it down to 2. And what we're going to call it is passive holds and, I guess, aggressive holds. So passive hold is the condition where we are either at a player disad of really 2 or more, or not and, a significant Uber disad of like 80 or more. So if we are doing a passive hold, I will be sitting generally around this area to escape. If the pocket scout isn't off-classing, so red, you'll also be sitting around here with me.
Yeah.
You want to have our roamer sitting on generally this far left side watching 5. Try not to commit too far into lobby, because if they Uber, and their whole strategy is going to be catching you out, trying to kill you, you want to make sure you can run out in case they pop. So
Just never go past the doorways.
Yeah.
It goes for Flank Scout and Roamer. If you go past the doorway and get knocked up, you're basically dead because you're stunned.
yeah.
That applies to any tight area like IT as well.
Right. You don't want to just walk in. A lot of times there can be stickies up here too, and if you walk in, you're just gonna die. It's gonna be sad, and that's gonna give us a lot of trouble. So yeah, now most of the time their Uber is gonna be centered either towards our sentry gun. We can have a sentry gun kind of sitting around right here. Either that, or if we don't have a gun, it's going to be towards the combo. And the whole purpose is whatever direction the Uber is coming from, you want to kite away from the Uber. So you can go and kite around through heaven. Roamer, just make sure you jump out of there. You should be relatively fine. And that should be that. Demo, you're over here watching doorways, mainly 1 and 2. And you will have another soldier up here helping you watch that, and as well as, I guess we'll have red up here too. And then we can put the flank, just watching this side. So that is that. Generally the idea is be prepared to kite away from the Uber, or be prepared to leave if they start pushing too much through one door. So then, we can have if there is a bit of a different situation if Ubers are even. Demo, you're still watching these doors up here. Soldier, you're still Pocket Soldier. Sorry, you're still watching here. These two spots are interchangeable. Or if one needs help with the other, then you can send them both over. But the idea is to be watching these doors to make sure they can't come through. It's like I said earlier, if we do have time for a sentry gun, make sure the sentry's up right about here on top of the point. You can kind of put it over here, I believe, on this corner. As for me, I will be playing a bit more forward with you guys to make sure everybody's got buffed. Flank, you're going to be sitting over here still, but now with more of our team forward, if you guys start getting pushed, try not to run away as much, because the rest of our team should be able to come up and actually help fight it off at that point. Now, if whatever reason we have a significant Uber ad or player ad, then we can start thinking about pushing out of last. So, before I get into that, anybody have any questions so far? Excellent. So, if their demo is dead, and like with our I guess player ad, we can just push out a 1, because normally they can put stickies up here and give us a really bad day. But if there's no stickies, because there's no demo, we can just walk out. If their demo is up, the general idea is to be leaving through lobby. So I will say, sometimes if you come into upper lobby, there can be a soldier sitting right here watching it. If there is, you send a scout, shoot him off. If you're going to go through lower lobby, you got to watch your stickies. If we have Uber at that point, which we probably will, and we're pushing out a lower lobby, I will pretty much Uber you guys right out the door. Just so nobody dies to the sticky trap, and then we can start fighting for second. At that point, they should really be thinking about leaving anyways, because they shouldn't have the players or the Uber to fight us off. So either we'll kill them all, or they'll run away. So that is pushing out of last. Now, pushing out of last, you get onto second. So there are really a couple different ways to hold second. The first, we're going to go into the passive position. If we have either a player disad or Uber disad. So I should specify that this over here, you can call this bats, and that's just because you got battlements. But we can also call it 2. But if you want to get specific about this concrete area, this is bats. So if we're at a big disad, I'll be chilling up here, helping you guys out. Let's see here. Roamer, you can be chilling up here on trapezoid. Just watching choke, watching IT, and stuff like that. Pocket Scout, you can be vibe up here with me. Demo, you can play a little bit more forward. But if you need to play a bit back too, you can. The whole idea is for Demo to just be spamming out choke with stickies and pipes, make sure they can't get through. Pocket Soldier, you're actually going to be quite a distance away from the rest of us, and you're going to be watching sewers to make sure they can't get through, just, you know, spot the doors and stuff like that.
Would that not be a better spot for Roamer?
So, the reason I say that for Roamer is because you want to be playing with your flank scout, right? And we need both of you guys to watch upper and lower IT.
You guys are basically gonna fight their flank, so their flanks.
Yeah, so I'll get into this. Yeah, but just what he said is generally their flank is going to be coming through IT, and there's no point in our combo sacrificing players to do it. I was about to get into that. Flank scout, you're going to be watching down here. Watch lower IT. Pretty much on this side of the point. But we do need to send a player to watch sewers. Really not to aggress past the doors, but you're just spotting out to make sure they're not coming through.
That'd be Belgian, right?
Yeah, that would be Belgian. He'll be vibing up here. If he needs a bow, I can bow him. But most of the time, if we're at Disad, me and you need to be ready to leave.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, so is that more of a passive hold?
Yeah, that's what I
Going
was
on
trying to say.
backs?
Is that what I just described as a passive hold on second. So now, if we are at even, say both meds are charged, the first number one thing is everybody be prepared for a bomb. Because if we're even, the only way to really break that stalemate is to get a force or a med drop. So be ready for a sack play. I can be vibing up here on the ramp. Again, Red, you're going to be chilling around here with me, just kind of spotting out this area.
Yeah.
Demo, same idea. Spamming out choke, you can play a bit more forward, because the rest of the team can play a little bit more forward. Try not to aggress into mid, because then you'll be too far, get caught out, and die. It's going to be very sad. What's that?
Yes.
Okay. So, let's see here. Pocket Soldier, you can still spot out sewers. Feel free to get a little bit more aggressive, but still remember they can put stickies on these doors, and you can die. But you can also get more of a buff. If you want to come back to me, I'll be over here. We can give you a buff, or if you just need heals, try and stand either over at this corner or down here. I can give you an arrow. Let's see here. As far as for the flank scout and roamer, you guys can actually be pushing a little bit more into IT. Scout, you can be vibing down here. Roamer, you can be vibing up here, just spotting out. Feel free to kind of, spam them out a little bit. Try not to aggress past this door, because stickies, if their demo shows up for whatever reason and they see you guys, you can just die. And at that point, you still only want to be, like, prepared to leave if you need to. But you can also put a little more pressure on them and try and force them out of there. But you guys won't be getting that much help, because you gotta remember, we'll have part of our combo over here, and over here. Not many people can really come to help you guys, so if you need healing or whatever, there is that health kit, but also you can just step out, tell me you're over here at upper IT or lower IT, and I can give you guys a bow or something like that. But yeah, this is more of a, I guess, neutral hold, so the idea is to not get too aggressive, but also be putting some pressure on, and don't walk into dangerous doorways. Any questions so far?
What situation would that neutral hold be? Like,
Full players, full Uber, pretty much.
for both sides?
Pretty much. It's really even Ubers, but under that assumption, both medics will probably have a charge.
Oh, okay. So it'd be more like a forward hold, right?
It's closer to a forward hold, but it's a little bit different than if we're about to push in a mid.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Speaking of pushing into mid, let's see here. If you guys want to push into mid, if we do have a small Uber ad, I can take a scout straight through IT, and Uber out the door here, and we can try and either get a pick or two and send the rest of the team in through choke. Let's see here. Ideally, that will probably be red for the most part. We can also have Belgian with us if we want to push through. But that's if it's a very strange case that would apply.
Is the idea to, since their medics not with their flank, right? You
Yeah.
take out the 2 players flank, and then we have a player.
So it's almost like it's like Sunshine, if that makes sense. Like trying to Uber into mid.
Can you explain how it's like sunshine?
Yeah, so remember, Sunshine has this little side passage that takes you
Oh,
onto second,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you can Uber in through that passage into mid. Same idea.
Gotcha. And
Um,
you want the flank and demo to go through choke, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is you can send the rest of the combo, or not the rest of the combo, the rest of the team, sorry, through choke and just ready to fight. But it's not the main case that happens on process. It's more of if we have a little bit of an ad and we're trying to either get a quick med drop, so they can't charge in time, or if we have a player advantage, then we can go through, do it that way. I'll let you call that out if you want to. Although generally, the other idea we can do is just send the entire team through choke.
Oh, even our flank?
The flank can go through sewer, but the problem is sticky traps, and there also may just be a soldier vibing up here. That can just bomb in on the flank if they don't see it. So
which is the more generally, like the general Uber push to mid? Is it through choke?
it's gonna be through choke. Yeah, just
Okay.
dry fight it. Because most of the time, if they're gonna be trying to hold, they'll be up here. And we can just Uber in. To try and fight it off. Now, if we don't need to use an Uber charge, that would be fantastic. Although I really doubt that would be the case.
I guess if the other team's like holding
If
passively,
yeah,
right?
if they're holding passive, that would be fantastic, and then we can just kind of walk in and fight. But depending on the circumstance, we may just need to Uber in and take this fight, force them to run out,
Yeah.
and then we can hold mid.
Wait, so do we not clear IT when we're pushing through chokes?
So yeah, that's the thing with main, right? Is you got to be careful about watching these doors. If we want to like send a player to spot IT, that would be fine. But we really shouldn't ever be thinking about pushing into mid unless it's clear anyways.
Okay.
Right? So at that point, you do want to have your you do want to have your flank here, and then we can pull them back for a full push. I suppose another idea, and there's so many different ways to do it. You could theoretically send your flank in if you knew it was safe for whatever reason, but it's so hard to know because right, their flank's also going to be here. The stickies could easily be up here on the store, which is why you just want to pull them back. And if we're Ubering in anyways, then the idea, right, is just to catch them out, kill the stragglers, and
Yeah.
we can easily send somebody to spot in IT after we get in the mid, just to make sure it's clear.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we get onto middle. So there's like everything, there's a couple different ways to hold middle. The first is going to be that more passive hold, and that's going to apply if we're on disad. Say for instance, we charged in, but they still have an Uber or something like that. We got to be careful and mindful about that. Or if we just have a player disad, they have more players than us. The whole idea of passive hold, right, is be prepared to leave. It's okay to give up a point sometimes if you can preserve, your Uber or your team. So, yeah. Generally, for med, I will be behind our rock. Alright? And then for red, you'll be on top of our rock. Just to get a little extra high ground spot out over here. Let's see here. Pocket Soldier, you can also jump on top of our rock if you'd like. I've seen another idea be you can play up here on top of the shed, but still within a range to leave or get heals. Demo Man, you can be playing just to the left of our rock, and the whole purpose is just to spam stickies from across the map. Just trying to get some damage. I know, it's incredible. But the reason you're not playing so forward on a passive hold is because you are very vital to the team, and if you die, it's going to be sad.
Sad.
I know. Generally, the strategy is just do not feed into them whatsoever. As for the flank, you guys can play over here. I would not advise playing in Death Corner, because it is lower ground, and if they have a roamer up here or something, you guys will get bombed. Roamer Soldier, you do want to be taking this high ground, playing on top of these crates. And then Flank Scout, you can be kind of peeking over here. I do advise watching out for a sniper play, because this is just a sight line and a half, and you will die sometimes. So just watch out for that. If you do see a sniper, make sure to call it out, and then just don't feed. So that is that. Roamer, another option is, if you want, you can also just hold on top of sewers, and in fact, this may be the safer option depending on how much you're spamming away. You still want to watch out for that sight line in Al-Qaeda. If you're back here, you're a little bit safer. So I'm going to throw that option out for you. This may be the way to go, so consider that. Let's see here. But yeah. What am I forgetting? No, that makes sense. Yeah. As far as for Flank Scout, remember you are going to want to play with the roamer, and try not to abandon him if they are like actively attacking us and stuff like that. You still want to play together. For instance, you as a scout cannot do that much alone if your roamer is dead. So you guys want to make sure you're protecting each other, so stay within that range to, attack. But also try not to play in this lower ground area. You want to play more up front here. You can even play, like, on top of the crate if you wanted to. Or else, one of you might get picked off. In that case, that's going to have to change things a little bit. But yeah, that is generally a passive hold on mid. So, now we're going to get into a more of an even hold. In that case, it's a lot more of the like aggressive hold, to where I can be sitting behind their rock, just avoiding sight lines. Demo, you can also start peeking choke a little bit. As far as you should really ever go is about here, on top of this platform. Don't start getting all the way in alone just yet, because sightline and the whole team is just going to be looking at you. And you want to make sure you have the ability to leave. Let's see here. Pocket Scout. Red, you can also just get on another rock again. That's it. You just get to play on rocks today.
You think, like, Pocket Scout positioning is literally right near Medic and Demo, right?
Pretty much. That's the whole thing with Pocket Scout, is playing between. I want to get specific about this. Play between me and Leo, but closer to me. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, because I need to shoot down the bombers, right?
Right, and that's something I was gonna say. Is the whole idea is waiting for a sack play if they do it. You want to be on as high ground as possible, because it could be one soldier, it could be two. If it's two, we need to think about backing up for a minute. But also, if it's one, we can just shoot them down. Because now our flank is going to be starting to think about vibing in here, right? So it's going to be harder for them to defend a bomb. Witty, you may want to think about just kind of running back and forth between here. So if there is a double bomb or something, you can also help Red in just shooting the soldiers out of the sky. But yeah. So at that point, speaking of bombing, The number one way to break this kind of stalemate, because at that point, both medics will probably have Uber. Either that or we're just having difficulty pushing in, is to send a sack play. So this is something Smokey did kind of on his own a little bit, but did not communicate that with us. Let Red call out the sack play, and we can really get specific about it and say, I don't know, sack at 3:40, and that would mean 3 minutes 40 seconds. And you're looking at the round timer, not the match timer. There will be two different timers going on. One of them's a lot longer than the other. You look at the shorter timer, always.
What if I see a really good opportunity?
Mind your health. The reason I say wait for us to call it out is so I can buff you first. So, and that's the
at
thing.
least, like, if you want to do it, at least give a heads up and maybe coordinate with your,
And what you gotta remember is
another
Demo's
squad.
gonna be up here a little bit too with you, and the Demo Man should be able to spot out where the medic is. That way we can communicate that and tell you when to bomb. As far as actually bombing, you can kind of jump up, jump off of here, and strafe into their med.
Oh wait, when would the situation be for me to call a bomb?
If it's just a long stalemate, neither team can push through, both medics have Ubers, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay, so we force them and then...
The idea is to get the force, and then they're out of Uber, and then we Uber in.
Okay.
They may try to push up towards us with the Uber, but we can just counter because our Uber will be longer.
Just kite, or we could kite it back a bit. And then...
You could kite it around and then try and catch them out, because
Yeah.
if they're out of Uber and we have a full team and Uber, they have to run or die. Those are the only two options. And if their whole team is dead, nobody can just defend mid, nobody can defend either point, and it's pretty much a W at that point.
Wait, is it Belgian and Smokey that are bombing together?
See, now that's the thing. You can do a single bomb, and you can also do a double bomb. It really depends on how much you trust your bombers. You have to remember that sending in a bomb is also basically sending a soldier to die.
Yeah.
And so we can figure out if we want to send both of them in to die at the same time. But I'm leaning towards just sending a single bomb. Because Belgian still has some work to do on his jumps.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I feel like he's not going to be able to do much damage at this point. And so just sending him to jump in and only to get air shot or something will be sad. But Smokey, I actually feel like he can do. He can do it.
Okay.
So I feel like just a single bomb for now. But we can consider a double bomb if their medic is really bombable. But most of the time they'll be vibing back here under the protection of their team. So unless their medic is like caught out or something like that, then you can do that. Another option, Smokey, is to you can go through IT, or not IT. Sorry, you can go through sewer if you wanted to, or just jump into Al Qaeda, and then from there you might have an easier time jumping in. But just be careful that you will be noticed, and you'll have to be fast if you do it that way. The other option, again, is just to jump in from off the wall into second. Generally, you're looking for either a med force or a med pop. If you force them, it's basically the same thing as they drop at that point. Because once they use Uber, and we haven't yet, then that's a fantastic position to be in. If you die and you don't get it, then we'll have to consider... we can still hold a little bit, but if we lose the second player, then we'll have to start backing up into that passive hold again, waiting for you to come back up. So just be aware. What's up?
By the way, like, whenever we do that situation where their med has no Uber and we have Uber to push in, don't focus the med. The med is basically negligible. Just shoot their damage dealers.
Right, because once they use their Uber, then no offense, medic is basically worthless.
Yeah.
It's not. It's less about healing in this game. It's more of how long can you be invincible.
So just make sure you call out your focus targets not on the medic, even though seems like a good idea to kill their healer.
Yeah, you guys can out damage a medic's healing very quickly. A beam will not save a person, except from like fall damage. So, yeah. But that brings up a really good point, and this goes for everybody. Call out your damage numbers. This is a thing our team struggled with a lot last season, and this is something I want to work on kind of squashing out early on. So we really need to work on making sure we're calling out, be very specific. Yeah, well, I mean,
minimum is like 30, right? 30
yeah,
damage.
I think it was 25 or 30, something like that. But if you do a significant chunk of their health, we want to know about it. And that can help us focus fire. Another thing right. Another thing I personally didn't do a great job of last season, I want to work on, is 1, tracking Ubers, and 2, actually using the Solemn Val. Now, if you don't know what it is, it lets medic see the enemy's health. It's incredible. So if their demo is low, I can let you guys know, and then you can just focus fire, and it'll be fantastic.
Make sure you practice actually switching to the called out target instead of just fighting the person you're fighting right now.
Yeah, at that point, you don't want to try and 1v1 somebody on more health than you, or if you can kill a more important target.
And also, if their demo is like on 70 health, right? You might not think it's a lot that you're peppering them from a distance, but if you have 3 teammates all peppering him from a distance, that's gonna add up. So that's the importance of focusing your fire on one person.
Right, and keep in mind, Roamer, that if we're just holding mid, you still want to be up in IT with your scout. But if we want to do a sack play, come out and come forward. I have seen this idea that you can try and like sack from IT, but I would advise against it because I can't buff you. If you're here and I'm here, beam does not go through wall.
There's a really good opportunity.
If they're medic,
if you take out their flank, or if they don't spot you, I think you can do that.
yeah. So if you just win this IT fight and can be fast about it, then you can do it. Another thing is, if they are playing too aggressively, and their medics say up in the low ground for some reason rather than being behind the point, yeah, then do it. Just do it. Let us know you're gonna do it, just so we're aware if we're about to be down a player or not. But for most standard reasons, just come back to me for a buff and I'll send you in. But yeah, if there's a decent opportunity, you're free to take it. Just make sure you let us know. Communication is the #1 way we can win this. Does it make sense?
Honestly, I think you guys on flank, Smokey and Witty, I think you guys could pretty easily take on the enemy team's flank. If you take down one of them, then you can pretty much work together to just aggro your
You both are great at what you've at Scout and Soldier, and so if you two can just make sure you're working together, if you want to like learn to focus fire targets together or something like that, that's gonna make things fantastic over here as you guys want to push forward. And if you win this kind of IT fight, let us know, and the rest of us can just walk in pretty much.
We don't even need to use at that point, right?
No, because they'll have 2 players down. They have to leave or die. The only situation we'd have to use in that point is if I get like bombed last minute and I'm on 1 health or something. Right. But the idea is to try not to use, because then we can just save it for last. So yeah. I believe I covered all of that. Remember, I guess, Belgian, who isn't here, but should be watching this video. For now, do not bomb with Smokey, because, no, we don't need to be, if he's gonna die, and his med's well protected, but he gets a med, Forester pick, he'll probably still die anyways, because he'll just be Ubered. But we don't want to send a second soldier in to die after they Uber, so just feel free to stick around by us. So that's the more, I guess, aggressive hold on mid. Any questions so far?
You mentioned Uber tracking. What is a good technique for doing that?
So this is something that even I'm still learning at this point, but the whole idea of Uber tracking is, think of it like this. Ideally, both medics are always healing somebody the entire time. So this is actually a really good skill for Highlander too, is assume that you are constantly healing somebody, assume that the other medic is constantly healing somebody. So at whatever point, if you die or their medic dies, whatever your charge is at that point, that's how much of an advantage or disadvantage you're at. So say you're at 50 at the start of the game, they're at 50 at the start of the game, but then you die, then they have 50 add. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So then at that point, by the time you have to, there is some kind of like mental guessing with it, but you know, you can be really precise over time. For instance, by the time that you get revived, if you have a long respawn timer, their medic's basically fully charged, right? And you'll start at 0. So you have to remember to think about, you know, half add. We have terms like half add, full disadd, meaning they're at 100, you're at 0, and stuff like that. Then it can get a little more complicated to where, you know, if either you die again or you get a drop, and then if they die, if we get a med drop and you're at what, 20, then we're at 20 add. By the time their med comes up, we'd be at like 70 add or something like that. So it is stuff like that to think about, but that's the idea of Uber tracking. Does it make sense?
Yeah, thanks.
Now, generally, that is the role of the medic entirely. The rest of the team can be a little bit aware about it, but the idea is whoever is main calling should just be able to ask, like, hey, are we at add or disadd? You just say we're at 30 add, half add, whatever. You don't have to be super exact about it, especially early on. But try and give a general estimate, you know, like if you think it's half, 25, 75, whatever. And the more you do it, the better you get. There's no avoiding that. So just kind of be aware about it. And it's not going to be perfect first time. There's going to be a lot of, like, chaos going on. You're going to be thinking about 100 different things. Medic can be a lot. But the
Medic
more you
is
can...
definitely the hardest last deployment.
Agreed. So there's a lot going on all at the same time. You'll be like trying not to die and all that kind of stuff too, helping your team out. But the more you can be aware about it, the better. So it's something. The skill is more crucial in higher divs and stuff like that too. But the more you can learn it early on, the better you'll be. Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No problem.
I have a question about like about Uber ad, right?
Yep.
Is there a point where is there a situation where you shouldn't push when you have ad? Like, I mean,
I
like,
would
you-
say
you're
the
fully
range is
charged,
roughly
right?
about. Oh, say okay. Go ahead.
Fully charged versus they have no charge, or they're at 50.
The
Or
only situation that would be, because I think the really the about the Uber ad this ad range, for a push would be about 25% difference. More or less depending on how competent your team is feeling. The only situation, say both medics are charged and we don't want to push, is if for whatever reason me and you are alive and everybody else dies. Or like
so,
we lose 2 players and we still have Uber or something like that.
so you would say losing 2 players probably means we can't take a Uber ad in.
Yeah, because they'll be able to walk out and then walk back in and kill 4 of us. A 4v6 loses every time.
Okay. So
Unless, yeah, so the difference is about roughly 20% Uber or a 2-player difference.
Gotcha.
Because that's about a third of your team, you gotta remember. It's only 6 people.
Yeah.
Oh my god, why are you doing trading?
Backpack.
Yep, what's up?
I was saying, just making sure I got this. So like, if I have 20% ad, and then I pop Uber, as soon as it's done, they have 80% ad.
It depends on how like much your medic is healing. It is a bit of a mental game to see how fast your medic can build. And there's also differences, like if their med's using a basher scout or something and building even faster.
Wouldn't in that situation wouldn't since you Ubered into them, right? Because you have a 20 ad.
Yep.
So the best, or the what you're hoping to do is kill their med with the.
Right, at that point you really want to get the med drop, because then they can just counter Uber, and if we have no Uber and they have full Uber, it's gonna be sad.
So the play is, if you use Uber and you don't kill their med who already has like 80%, that means you should play more passively, right?
Right, you want to be ready to leave because they'll just counter us. At that point, then it'll go back to more of an even hold. Neither med is gonna have a charge. With the remaining players who ever survived that fight. Ideally, we can just avoid that situation at all costs. We do have to be flexible about it, but if we can get the med drop, the better. And that's just assuming, right, that we're kind of within this 20% margin of error here. And we're trying to get the med pick quickly. If we're at a massive ad, like, I don't know, I think like 60 or more, then we can think about just doing the standard. But keep in mind that the other option we do have is, even if we're at charged and they're at 80, we can also just send a sack in for it. There's no point in just sending a whole team in. So there are a couple different options for that. But some of it depends on like what the call is gonna be. But it's like chess, right? There's a bunch of different ways you can win.
Hey, is Tangent Lime? Are you on the other team, right?
Yeah, he's gonna
Yeah,
play.
I'm the medic for the other team.
He's gonna play Highlander medic also. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's why I'm trying
Who's
to.
main calling in Highlander?
I don't know yet.
I don't either.
I have, because I'm playing engineer. I don't think engineer is supposed to play
Wait, who's
main
our
calling.
demo?
That would be Leo.
Okay.
So
Maybe-
we'll figure that out. That's gonna be. Here's the thing. I haven't played Highlander before, and
Oh.
yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Witty, I can't main call. I'm on spy duty.
Yeah, this is true. He is on spy check duty. He's not gonna be able to do much of anything. Yeah. 55 red. I agree. So, anyways, assume we have a successful, bomb, or are ready to just Uber in and kill them all. Let's talk about second. So now we're going to get into kind of the more of attacking phase. So now we're going to be talking about holding second on disad, more specifically their second. So it's a little bit different than holding our second. Somebody leave?
Yeah.
Tangent had to go.
Oh, I see. Let's see here. So now if we get onto their second, if we're at disad at that point, med can vibe over here. Kind of in choke, ready to leave if they send somebody in to kill me. Red, you can vibe up on the pipe. Try and take a little bit of space, but not aggressing too hard. Let's see here. Demo Man, you can also be playing around here. So we'll have kind of this triangle of players. Red, Leo, me. So Demo, since you're over here, the idea is just to spam stickies over to this platform over here. You can also be watching too. But the idea is just to do as much damage from as far away as possible. So you can also put a trap over here on lower lobby. So if they try to leave or try to come out, then you can just trap it, and it'll be incredible. As far as, let's see here, for both of our soldiers, Pocket Soldier, you can actually be playing up on Trapezoid, and Roamer can either be spotting out over here near 1, or also just watching like lower IT in this area with your Flank Scout as well. So Flank Scout, you can also be sitting around here in this area, kind of peeking in and out of IT, but you still want to be watching these doorways. But be ready to leave, because this is still more of a passive hold. If you need to just walk out and leave, yeah, just do that. Your fastest route of escape for both Roamer and Flank Scout is through IT into mid. So, yeah, that's going to be that. Now, if we are on more of an even hold, Medic can just vibe up here on the ramp and just chill out. Pocket Scout, take the point. Demo can be trapping these doorways. You mainly want to be trapping 1 and lower lobby, whichever side you think they're on. Let's see here. And then, you know, we can have, like, you know, your Roamer, your Flank up here is also just watching these hallways. It's more of just about having your players more forward up. So you can have a Scout here, have another Scout here, have a Demo here, Soldier and Soldier in this kind of area. So just be ready to push in, but don't push in quite yet. Something I do want to mention is, as far as actually capturing the point, if we want to hold like aggressively, just leave a Scout behind to do it. So, yeah. As far as that goes, at that point, if we are holding aggressively on their second, we're going to be considering just ready to push into last and take the round. So, as far as breaking kind of the uber stalemate that is bound to happen here, we just send the team into the lobby and get ready to go in. I say not quite the whole team. You do want to leave like a Soldier or a Scout out here to just watch 1 and 2 to make sure they don't try and come out without us knowing. But yeah, once in the lobby, we can now talk about the final push onto last. Any questions so far? No, okay. So, the first thing about pushing out onto last, right, is we will have our flank ready to come in through 5, with the idea of just to take out the Roamer and to take space over here. You guys are more than welcome to start coming up into heaven. to kind of get this high ground on him. Be aware there may be a sentry gun there, and if there is a sentry gun, we can have both soldiers kind of come in right here and just spam out the gun from this peak, because you guys will get healing and there shouldn't be any problems there. But yeah, the other option is if you don't want to spam from 5, both soldiers can, or you can have a roamer at 5 and you can send your pocket to 2, although I personally think it's going to be better to just have both soldiers just quickly spam it down. So as long as you guys have decent, I guess, pressure, if you want to call it that, you guys can just take out the gun. So as far as everybody else, I mean, you know, you'll have your flank over here as well, so Woody will also kind of be vibing up here. Try not to push in until after the gun is dead, so you don't just get shot down, but once the gun's down, you and Smokey can just be taking space over here. Demo Man, you can be pressuring in over here by 3 or 4. Keep in mind, their combo will be kind of in over here or over here. So just kind of peek in, spam pipes, spam stickies, and take them out. And then if we have the ad with player-wise, we can just send the whole team in through 5 and kind of Uber around them to take the point. If we do just have an Uber ad, we can do this kind of play where we send the combo in through 3 or 4, depending on whichever side their combo is on. The whole idea is to cut them off and kill them, and then we can still send the flank in through 5 to just take this high ground. Ideally, well, what they should be doing is trying to kite our Uber. So what will happen is if we Uber in through, say, 3, we'll be pushing in this way. Their whole idea would be to run up and around through heaven and escape. But if we have our flank here, we cut them off and they die. So there is that. If there is like a small Uber ad or something like that, we can Uber through 3 or 4. At that point, though, if it's relatively even, they would also probably have a sentry gun, and we'll just have to Uber on the sentry. And yeah, so roamer and flank, you guys can. The whole idea for you two is just to be getting behind them. If you guys want to help spam down a gun, if it is there. But at that point, by the time you're in this deep, there should be no sentry. So just get up here, start spamming out. You guys do have the option, especially roamer, to come up here and sit up on this kind of ledge. But you can also just come in behind, or be over here, wherever their players are, just to spam them out. But yeah, the last thing is be super trap aware when we're pushing into last, right? Because they can have stickies here, here. Their demo should be over here, so you shouldn't see many stickies over here, but if they can be, mainly watching out for 1, 2, and 3, and especially the point. Don't walk onto the point if there's a lot of stickies on there. It'll be really sad. So
one of the scouts should inch the point, either me or Witty, and then make the demo dead.
yeah, you can kind of bait it out. And if you die, and you know, say they're down 2 players, we're only down 1, we can probably still win by capturing. So it's not a big deal if you get caught in it, but try not to and just prank him.
What would you say is the default push from the pocket? I know flank always basically goes through 5, right?
Right. The default would probably be there's a sentry here and their combo's vibing over here, so it would just be to Uber in. Uber in through 3 or 4, depending on which side they're on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, should we be worried about 1 and 2s?
So 1 and 2, they would be really silly to try and go out and come around because they're losing players to defend like that.
Okay. It'll be if we decide push.
If,
it'll
for
be
instance,
late
like
to
they
the
send a
fight.
scout and a soldier through like 1 or something like that, they only have 4 players in here defending. We Uber in and we kill them and take the point before they can take us out. So really, under no circumstance should there ever be something like that. I will say the one exception is a spy.
We're going against the ambassadors, right?
Yes.
I feel like they're gonna go through 1 or 2. They're the type to pull a spy play.
So no, I was gonna say that, and that's the whole thing is with spy play. You can have a sniper peek 1. You're absolutely right. I don't think I've ever seen the ambassadors go sniper because they usually off-class to pyro or spy. Yeah, if you wanted to, you could, and I'll get into off-classes here in a second. I didn't quite cover that.
Oh wait, are they playing seriously this season, or are they still running the off class?
I think they're gonna do it less so.
Okay.
Their roster looks a little bit different. I haven't specifically asked. But I think they're gonna take it a bit more seriously.
Gotcha.
So, we'll see. But for this team specifically, everybody needs to be spy aware. Because they will try and sneak one in. Yo, what's up? What? Where are you guys? I'm very confused. Oh. Ha. That's funny. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, how long, what was the last thing I said that y'all heard?
We need to be spy aware for this team.
Excellent, okay. Yeah, I heard some weird cutout noise. I didn't know if it was my
I
recording.
I think Snivy heard you talk shit and he DDoSed you.
Okay, right. So, biggest thing is just being spy aware. Watch your back. I mean, I'll try to be standing in spots to not get backstabbed. But Red, it is also your job a little bit, like in Highlander,
Yeah.
to help watch for spies. Even if you can't necessarily kill him, call it out.
Try to keep track of in sixes. Try to keep track of all 6 players.
Right. You wanna if we have a visual on say 5 of them and we don't know where the 6 is, there's probably a spy. So, but if we have all 6 in sights, then we're fine, and we take them out. So that is about that. Otherwise, it's just use the Uber and try and kill them. Pray to God everything goes great, and then take the point, and boom, that's the round. And then we have to do it 5 times.
Wait, Nate. I
Yeah, what's
remember
up?
last season our team struggled a lot with pushing last on process. What was the reason for that?
Because we only played Process our first season. We didn't play it second season. So
Yeah.
the only times we played Process were like the first week, I thought.
I kind of want to avoid having that issue where we have trouble pushing last.
So this is also something we had trouble with our scrim too. Granted, we didn't talk about positioning whatsoever, but the last thing we want is a long stalemate on last, because that gives them, the longer we wait, the easier it is for them to charge and just take back second, and then we go all the way back to mid. We want to be, once we get into this lobby area, we want to be fast and just take them out. I'll let you do the calls on when you want to push, Red, but just to keep in mind, that's the #1 way to prevent a stalemate. as to be fast. That way they also don't have time to put a sentry gun. Because if they put up a whole sentry, that's just going to take a minute to take out. Unless, I guess, both soldiers can get over here and spam it really fast. Make sure we do check for sentry, and the flank can call it out. But...
Oh wait, Nate, can you stream?
Oh, I'm not even streaming. Ha! That's funny. Yes.
No, I. Oh, you're right.
Okay. Excellent.
Alright.
Is that better? Okay. Like I was saying, if we can have the soldiers just spam out a sentry if the flank sees one, you know, that'd be great too. But otherwise, it's gonna be push in, try and take them out fast. A lot of that also depends on how long we wait to push into lobby after we take second. Because if we take out most of their players, they should still have a decent respawn timer on them. And then we can just kind of push in through lobby. And who's playing? Oh no, Goofy Engineer. Can you? I'm trying to do a demo. Thank you.
In the case where
You
we
kept
have
pointing
player
at the sentry spot, so I had to build a sentry.
Fair enough.
and Nate,
Yeah, what's up?
in the case that we have like player add after we kill them on second, they're
If-
down like 3, right?
They're down 3.
Well,
We push in. That is that. We have to be fast about it because
all through like 3 or
if their
two?
demo's dead, we can push in through 1.
okay.
Otherwise there may be stickies, so we can just push in through lobby.
Gotcha. Does flank need to go 5 or can they just come
In
in?
that situation, if there's a significant enough player add, flank can come in through like 3 or 4 with us.
Okay.
That way we can just get to the point fast. Because at that point, they really don't have the players to defend at all, and we just win anyways. But, I say that, if we are slow and give them time to get the sentry up, get their players back up, then it's going to be more of a dry fight. Even though we'll probably have Uber, if we have enough time to build or we didn't use on the second or whatever, you know, that does also matter, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways to kind of think about it, but those are kind of the general ideas on the different ways to do that. Let's see what I was going to talk about.
For a stalemate, that's when we do the sniper play on Witty, right?
I mean, Witty on their last, that would be something. I mean,
did it
we
in,
can also just send a sack play, but I do think the sniper would be kind of funny.
Didn't we do it in our first game?
I think we did too, and that's why I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, you put me on sniper.
I didn't put you on sniper. I was
Or
playing
no, Alex.
soldier. What do you mean?
Alex told me to get on sniper.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's good because
where
the
do you
sack
want?
play means,
Where do you want the sniper to go? Like through 5?
yeah, either through 5 or get a peek through 3. I
Okay.
remember when I was
So
playing sniper, their med, when I peeked through 3, the med made a mistake and he got hit.
yeah. So Witty, if we have like a long stalemate and we just want to break it, we can just send you in to die. And just come
Yeah.
up as sniper. Then you can like peek this corner or just get this long sight line and get a med drop or something. But that's if we are on a incredibly long stalemate, and if we don't need it, then don't worry about it. Scout will be better for that.
I think it's better than a sack play because
So
What do
I
you
agree.
do?
The thing with process is it's a lot easier to do a sack play from like second to mid, vice versa. But there's not really a great jumping point on last without getting caught out by something. So sniper play actually might be good fine here. The other time for a holy sniper play is kind of the opposite situation where we can't push out of last or whatever. Feel free to just go sniper and yeah. Now, be careful. We don't want to sacrifice, like, if we can have a gun up instead, that would be preferable as engineer. But if there isn't enough time for a sentry gun and we're holding our last, then go sniper and headshot their medic. It'll be glorious. So, try not to, like, run with sniper as we push in from last to second to mid. That would be a little BM. I know you could do it, but we're gonna try and play this relatively normally. Unless they're also doing something really funky, in that case, then we'll figure out strategy.
What if they are beating us?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But if we're holding last, then they are beating us, and that's when you pull up sniper.
Well, I mean, like, what if they have won, like, 2 to 3 games in a row?
You mean if our dominance is getting challenged? Red, what do we do in that situation? Do we let him do it?
You know if some teams full run sniper?
Only on Koth that I know that.
Oh,
Sniper is usually reserved for last holds, or like stalemate breaking on
it
CP.
is amateur league, right?
Yeah, I think the general ranking is amateur.
Okay, I guess if we're down 3 rounds, right?
If we're getting our butts kicked, then do it.
Yeah.
Ideally, we should be hopefully playing well to not. I pray.
Oh, one thing I will say about defending last, Witty, it's probably better, even if you don't have time as engineer, it's probably better go heavy. Because if they do like a fast collapse on us, sniper is pretty helpless in the fight.
Yeah.
But if they have a sniper, then you're free to.
If they have a sniper also, then just counter. It'll be funny.
Wait, so Belgium doesn't go heavy?
No.
we unfortunately need Belgian rockets.
Right. We need both soldiers to stay soldier and demo to stay demo.
And once.
Oh yeah.
You want the holy splash damage for last holds.
Yeah.
Really, the only people we can sacrifice to off-classing are the scouts, and even then, mainly sacrifice one, unless we need, like, an engineer and a sniper or something like that, or a heavy and a sniper. Or even a pyro, get somebody to go pyro to air blast them off the point.
Wait, is that a thing? Having a sniper and another off-class?
It is unconventional, but mainly you want just one off-class.
Okay.
It's one of those where you can do it. That doesn't mean you should.
2 questions about off-classing.
Yes, sir. What you got?
One, so sort of a question for Witty as well. Witty, how confident are you at playing soldier? You're bad at soldier.
I mean, I'm okay.
So what you're trying to see is if you can swap with somebody.
Yeah, I was thinking like Belgian could go heavy and then Witty could go soldier.
So,
but I guess
I would really here's Red. How's your soldier?
It's okay, but I don't.
So here's what I'll say. Yeah, and that's the kind of the vibe I'm getting is I really need
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Red and Witty just don't play that much soldier overall. Because Belgian's a heavy main, that's why.
I won't be honest, heavy's not that hard to play.
Yeah, so here's the thing with heavy, you don't do anything fancy, it's just hold right click and left click to shoot them down. We're not trying to do anything fancy, the whole point of a heavy play is just to be defense. Heavy isn't like getting up in their face or anything. If he did, that would be horrible. He's sticking close to me so I can tank him.
Like soldier, heavy doesn't have any techniques really besides
right.
jumping.
And we still need our soldiers to be up and kind of trying to hold them off.
Okay. And the second part is where would a pyro fit in as a off class, if at all? Like, say we're just getting dominated by soldier rockets.
So,
They Uber in. If they
right.
have the full ad, and you can air blast them off the point and buy time.
Yeah,
Like,
so
heavy, you'll just die.
Ambassadors did run pyro almost full time, but they kind of got smoked for it. Because sacrificing a scout is actually really hard on your team.
And Pyro is probably one of the worst classes.
Pyro can
fighting
air
the-
blast rockets, but he's pretty much useless against scouts.
Yeah, you're crippling your team if you're full running Pyro. Really.
Yeah, so mainly Pyro would be for last holds. Air blast the Uber, air blast them off a point. Be super careful about point because this last one can capture quick. So just be aware about that. But yeah, I think that covers all of positioning.
Yeah. Woody, you good with playing Pyro?
I mean, sure. I only really run Pyro on like Metalworks, and I don't even know if that's on the thing. So I don't think I'll really play him.
Oh.
No, I mean,
off-classing will probably change if they're like pushing hard. It'll probably depend on which one of us is just respawning.
yeah,
So-
that's the last thing I was gonna say is it's not necessarily gonna be Witty off class every time. It's gonna be a scout off classes, whoever can, very quickly. Like, if you're still alive as scout, like, up towards the front, just wait for whoever's to come up next to off class, and it'll be situational. For instance, Red, if he's coming up from off classing, will probably play heavy 90% of the time, maybe pyro. Witty, if we'll try and call out if we'll either need a heavy or a sniper. But yeah. Yeah, that'll. It's hard to say what we'll do right now because it's highly situational. So it's gonna be prepared for either or. Heavy is just gonna be stand near the point and minigun. Sniper is gonna be remove their heads wherever possible. Up. Yeah. So he does frag. But as far as positioning goes, I believe that wraps everything up. Otherwise, it's just going to be a matter of execution. And this isn't something that will be perfect every time. I wish we had time to practice this more in a scrim, but we don't. So it's going to be what it is going to be.
What if we lose like an Uber exchange on their last?
If we lose an Uber exchange on their last, we need to start thinking about running all the way back, because we're not going to live on second. We'll have to pretty much go back to mid and get ready to hold mid.
Yeah, so we don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that, or else you lose a lot of ground, because losing an Uber exchange on their last would imply that we've lost almost all of our players. If not gotten team wiped already. So yeah, it is definitely a clutch up kind of moment, but most of the time they should be down players anyways, so we probably shouldn't lose the exchange, but also you guys have to be aware.
The same for them, right? If they
Right,
lose,
the same for if they lose an Uber exchange on their last, we win. That's all that happens.
no. If they lose Uber exchange on our last,
On
let's
our
say we're,
last,
like, getting
we should be able to push up the second, take it really quickly, and start thinking about passive holding on mid. Because, yeah, we won't have the Uber, but we get that much extra ground. Second, like, there are times to defend second, but a lot of it is depending on, like, who's alive, who has Uber. Not most of the time, a good chunk of the time, second pretty much just gets captured by a scout, and it's about middle But yeah, so you gotta be aware of that, right? Is if you lose on last, you get punished for it really hard. So that is a thing where we're not gonna try and push in until we're ready. And that's also why you guys don't want to just run in without the team and get picked off, because it's gonna make our day really difficult.
Yeah.
So just be aware about that. Process is the only map we'll be playing. It'll be 1st to 5. The first half ends at either if the timer runs out for the half, or whoever gets 3 rounds winning first. The second half will be whoever can get 5, the first to 5. Either that, or if both teams are at 4 points at the end of the second half, then we'll go into golden cap, which is whoever can. It basically restarts the round, and whoever gets the final point first, unless you just tie it. In that case, stalemates are not fun, and it's very lame. Let's not stalemate, okay? It's very boring, and it also takes forever. 10-minute pastime round. Oh god. But yeah, that kind of covers up this little map review session. Does anybody have any questions?
Does my mic sound different?
Yes. You should turn it down a little bit.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I think it's finally going to the wire instead of the left.
Yeah, I can definitely hear you easier.
Yeah, when does the flank go in? Where?
From mid or
Anywhere. So, if, for instance, if we are all on second, pushing into middle, flank would come in generally with the combo, with an Uber charge. Flank, if you guys win the flank fight over here and you want to go in, you can start thinking about walking in this way, unless we're doing a sack play. In that case, Woody, don't go in alone over here. Come back with your soldier. We can send in a sack play, and then if we get the med force or med pick, then we can walk in together. The flank isn't necessarily about going in alone. It's more of trying to kill out their flank and then
just
pushing.
play pretty passively in IT.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty rare that they're gonna misplay and you get a kill on one of their flankers. So,
Yeah, so what you gotta realize is when you're playing in IT, their flank is gonna be like up here too, right? And they have high ground. At least your soldier will, and you guys will get spammed out. So try not to push in too far past this door. You guys, this will be kind of your area. This will be their area, or vice versa, right? If we're holding last or holding second. So, yeah, be careful about walking through doors with stickies on them.
we'll only push in if we're pushing as a team, or yeah, just tickle their flank. And then the other time you can call a push in whenever you have an advantage, so you take out one of their.
So if you guys just destroy their flank, then we can start thinking about pushing in too, because they're just down players at that point. The magic number is always 2 players. 2-player advantage, 2-player disadvantage.
Is the mic better? Or is it
Much
too loud?
better. Much better.
Alright.
Fantastic. But yeah. That's it. Anybody have questions about their roles? Map place.
Wait, I just realized, is like Demo Man in 6 is just like artillery?
Pretty much, he's just an artillery cannon, yeah. Like, if you watch our old VODs, our demo never really got up in their face, because it's way too risky for him to do that. It's just...
Bonter?
Yeah. Bonter lore. But, and this is kind of logic that applies to all maps. Demo, you're not wanting to get up in their face. You just want to, you know, spam stickies, spam pipes, do damage. as long as you can just splash the areas, especially towards their demo, that'll be fantastic. Because their medic will be near their demo, who will also probably eat some damage. And then,
The
yeah.
main goal for a demo is just to soften up the enemies, right? So we can clean up.
Right. And then soldiers, or at least the flank, will be getting in their face a little bit more. And our combo can do the cleanup work. So. Medic! Yeah, that's that.
Are we gonna have a practice scrim tomorrow?
I can see if I can get one last minute.
I don't think I'll have time to do one.
But yeah,
What about Leo, Liddy? Can you guys go to a scrim tomorrow?
If it's quick.
it'll be a single map scrim. I can ask. I'll put a message out to all teams saying we're looking for a scrim on process.
Can Belgian make it?
No idea. He's not even here.
Oh, he's on CSAT?
No, I mean he's just not. I mean I think he's out of town or something. I don't know.
Oh.
He'll make
Yeah,
it to the
he went
match,
back.
but
He went back home, so.
he'll be here for the match, which is why I'm recording this whole thing.
Okay,
So
we're gonna be down both soldiers, so probably can't do a scrim.
no, we will do a quick like once-over review probably before the match
Oh,
on Sunday. If you guys want to do that, just to make sure everybody's refreshed. We can also just do some warm-up on probably MG, just to get ready to go. So it'll be all right. Process is not that hard of a map to start with. A lot of it's gonna be challenging, like how well we can play together. So, and if anybody wants to watch the last time we played Process,
oh my god, I have my clips.
Oh my god, he does have his clips.
Let me find them.
Yeah. I think we lost last time we played Process, but that was basically a year ago. No,
Dude,
it was close.
Like, it was surprisingly close considering we never played competitive.
Considering God knows why I had to play Soldier, that was still pretty good.
Wait, who is the Roman?
Romer was Ultras,
Was he
our
good?
#1 fan.
He-
Oh, yeah,
he
this is
was
actually a
really
thing,
good.
is if you want a little lesson from him on how to Romer, I can get you that. I have talked to him a little bit. If you want kind of a general how to Romer, I can get you set up with a little bit of a coaching. But yeah. No.
You better not lose to ambassadors. Their medic is really bad.
Bruh.
Wait, I'm sorry, what? Their medic is really good.
He's so toxic. What the heck?
No, like last time listening to their comms, this man was like,
So they
Like
they did have no comms whatsoever, and so I figure if we have comms, we'll probably be fine. Now, because it is our first match, I don't know. I'm feeling like a 5-2 or something right now.
if
I
we
feel
lose,
That mean we win?
yes,
Yeah, 5-2
better
we
win. If we lose, I will be so
Sad.
sad.
I think it's. I don't think we'll have much problem with this. It'll be all right. I need us to play better than how we did in our scrim, because if we do like that, we'll probably lose.
I think we know like the different ways to push now, so we're not just confused on
Yeah,
individuals.
we just need to play as a team and not a bunch of individuals. Because if we start doing that, we're going to lose a lot of ground really quick. Because the one thing they do have is decent, like, I don't know. They've been doing this a couple times now, and our roster is pretty much new again. So we need to make sure we can play well together.
Yeah.
So, because any amount of team coordination will beat no team coordination. So just about being aware about that.
Oh yeah, Leo. You there, Leo?
Yeah.
Okay. Be careful your positioning as demo man.
Yeah, I overextend a lot.
Right, and that's something I was trying to point out of telling you where to stand is don't overextend or else you're gonna get caught out in the fire.
Just charge your stickies. You can try to just shoot at them even if you can't see them. I don't know if you do that already, but charge your stickies, launch them over buildings. So like at mid, you know how their combos playing behind rock.
I'm still getting used to using stock because I'm like so
Yeah.
used to using the cookie bomb. It's like you just charge and then boom, it's just
Yeah,
across
so
the
like,
map.
for instance, if we're holding passively on mid, you can just sticky charge and send it over. The longer, like, in-flight time your stickies have, they'll probably be ready to detonate as soon as they land if you're firing it across the map. So, yeah. Sticky
Oh,
spamming has an art to it.
Also, if Leo is out of position, Nate and I we should follow him, right? Because
Yeah, if he's out of position, we have to kind of, we gotta anchor near him a little bit. Although, I mean, medic is really supposed to be kind of the center of gravity for the team. So he does need to come back towards me a bit. But if he's way out there, we don't want to let him die either.
So yeah, Leo, if you feel like you suddenly feel like your teammates are not at your sides, take a quick look around and locate Nate.
Yeah, just come
shoot
back,
a bit
come back
further.
to us a little bit. Because the rest of us, if you can't find any of us, or you feel like we're not near you, you're probably out of position. Either that or the whole team is out of position. It's one of the two. But even if the whole team is out of position and you are in position, come back to your team and play closer to your team. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Generally, the TLDR is don't be too far from your team. Unless you're supposed to be. Like the flank.
Smokey and Witty, I hope y'all are prepared to work together. Your biggest fight will probably be in IT.
Hey, you guys do an excellent job of fighting each other. I'd like you to, you know,
Like,
use that
with each
energy.
IT, the corridor, holding flank on second. That's probably the part where you need to work together the most.
Woody
No.
and Smokey.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just make sure you two can work together. I don't know, go do Uncle Tope or something, like sync up a bomb, whatever you want to do.
Oh, not die. What the heck?
But yeah.
Oh yeah, when's the Highlander match starting?
Well, team registration closed Thursday night, so I'm just waiting for the RGL people to put out the schedule now. Should be starting soon.
Is everyone on our Sixes team on the Highlander team as well?
Everybody on this team is on Highlander.
Oh. That's pretty cool.
I know.
That's actually really cool, because...
I know. I thought ahead when I made these teams.
Wait, is Alex playing for Highlander?
Which Alex?
Train.
No, that Alex doesn't want to do it anymore. He says he's too busy. But I'm like, please come back. It would
Do we
be
have
fun.
anyone on Highlander with... Oh, we don't have anyone with experience.
Nope. Besides, I guess maybe you.
On Pyro. Okay, I will say, whenever you Uber... Wait, you're not even medic. Never
No,
mind.
I'm not playing engineer. I'm gonna Uber with my dispenser, man.
Okay, that'll be a whole nother bag of can of worms.
So we'll have another like chat with Lycaser before
Yeah.
we get started, just so, because I think the first map is upward. So we'll chat with him to kind of help with that.
Wait, Leo's on demo, right?
Yeah, Leo's still on demo, man.
It might be beneficial for Leo to learn main calling then. Might as well, right?
It would. I would rather him learn it in a scrim than main match.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm gonna have you do it first, and then once we get more scrims in, we'll start having him learn.
Okay.
Just because it's game time now, right?
Yeah.
So
What about for Highlander?
I have no idea about Highlander, man. We can play rock paper scissors for it, maybe. I don't know. I know it can't be me as engineer. That would be really
Yeah.
silly. It can't be you as Pyro. I mean, maybe it could be Smokey, maybe it could be Belgian, maybe it could be Leo. That's kind of the...
Smokey's on Soldier.
Smokey's playing Soldier, Belgian's playing Heavy, Leo's playing Demo.
I've never heard of a heavy main call.
Neither have I, but I figure Heavy would also be kind of up there with the team, so... Yeah, sure, Sniper main call, that would be something.
Yeah, I'll just see who's like alive, and then hopefully I'll keep track of the Uber too. I mean, that shouldn't be...
No, I mean, you really should never be tracking Uber unless, like,
Ask your medic for that information.
your medic should be the one tracking Uber, because with everything else going on, yeah, good luck with that.
All right.
You're gonna lead our in Highlander. You're gonna lead our pushes. You're gonna be the main driving force, the one who our medic Ubers.
Yeah, thanks.
So,
Wait, who's our scout in Highlander?
Scout is Squid.
Did we play against Squid?
He was on white team, playing Scout.
Oh, okay.
Was it the green one or the one with the weird unusual?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
So what
Oh,
happens to their team? Is it just over for them?
6 is pretty much getting canceled for that team. Because I just don't hear that much from them at all. So it's impossible to plan anything. They are being put on our sub-roster for Collegiate. None of them have really said they wanted to do like a separate small team unless there's enough players for it, so I'll look around a little. But mainly the focus is going to be grabbing the 3 of them for a Highlander, and then the other 3 can do whatever, I guess. But as for Collegiate, they are pretty much getting pulled out. Another reason of that is they aren't quite at the same level as everybody else in Collegiate. For instance, our combined team knowledge would survive for Amateur, which is about where Collegiate is. They're playing like fresh newcomer level, and so
How about Blizz? Is he...
Blizz is RGL main, except he never shows up for anything.
But like, would he theoretically appear for like one match ever?
Maybe.
It's a roll of chance.
It is
Remember
roll
I
of the dice. We
played,
played this song and dance before.
played a tournament with him. It's soldier medic versus soldier medic. He's pretty unreliable, so.
Yeah.
But he is really good.
He is really good, but all the skill in the world does not make up if man does not want to
Show up.
Yep. So
I guess he's technically smurfing if he plays for us.
right. Well, here's what I'll say is, even Rat Party was like, yeah, the teams aren't quite as OP as they were last season. For instance, you had like the top 3 teams better than everybody else.
Wasn't the Polytech Institute one of them? The one with our first match?
I think so. But he said that those high-level players aren't back this season, so it should be pretty fair for the most part. It seems like a lot of amateur and probably intermediate players.
Okay, that's
So
good.
I think we actually stand a decent chance at.
We
Winning, maybe?
made it to finals and then we
Uh,
got last place in finals.
We made it to playoffs and we beat the Ambassadors and then lost to, I think, Georgia.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, we're terrible.
Right.
I thought we were. So I have really fond memories of last season.
Yeah, no, we did well. But I think like we haven't sugarcoated a little bit because we like won half the matches and then lost the other half. But I don't think there was as many teams either.
Wait, that's kind of like strange or kind of sad if you think about it, because if we will never be able to progress from our last season, because our last season team they're all gone. And now
Right, but what I'm saying is it shouldn't be quite the same because those higher level teams that wiped everybody every match.
we might do better this season.
By comparison,
Okay.
I think because those high level players shouldn't be here, which means hopefully no team gets completely wiped, although apparently UMass just did. So
I thought
either UMass was really
UMass
good. That's why I'm
Like all of their players have like 300 hours.
so they have a new team entirely
What?
then.
Wait, 300 hours is bad.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah,
I think
they got
have,
wiped. So.
they have a new roster entirely. That's what it
Who
is.
did they go against?
I think it's University of New Mexico.
Oh. Are they
I mean, it
good?
was literally 5 2-minute rounds, and they lost every single thing.
Wow.
That's crazy. Let's not do that, guys.
No, we are gonna do that. We're
No.
gonna be doing.
You're
yeah,
right. You're
we're
right.
gonna-
We'll roll
We're
them in
gonna
2
be
minutes.
wiping. Okay, if you think about it, 300 hours is like only pub play. You haven't
Yeah.
really gotten too competitive at all.
Yeah.
So it makes sense they got rolled. But what about New Mexico? Are they?
What I can check New Mexico's stats.
If you just go to the server, there's like all the logs and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, really?
I mean, they did theirs tonight. That's why I saw it.
Oh yeah. Huh. I mean, what they had. Interesting. I mean, New Mexico's stats tell me they've done this before. I mean, it looks pretty. Well, that round looks pretty closer. I would love to know Portal. Why does the name sound familiar to me?
Wait, they're like damage stats, or wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
I mean, they had a scout do. No, I'm
Six.
looking at the wrong.
628 damage. I'm looking at second match.
Second. How did their medic do 229?
That's what I'm wondering. Wait, is that the?
No.
Is that New Mexico?
No, we're looking at total damage. Look at damage per minute.
Damage per minute.
It's the 5th column.
Oh, gotcha.
So they had a scout do 76 DPM, which is very
Low?
yeah, that's pretty low for scout.
Is
Although
that New
I'm looking at
Mexico, or
I'm
is
looking at
that
blue team. Sorry,
Blue Team
uh,
UMass?
Blue team lost, so I guess that is UMass.
Oh yeah. If you look at the other team, New Mexico's damage numbers, it's really high across the board.
I mean, it looks high, but it also looks normal. It kind of looks like what we did, average, last season. So I'm not surprised about that.
I mean, it's hard because they were 2 minutes long, so it's like 2
Right.
fights,
I'm
maybe.
trying to figure out like
Right.
what happened here. They had They had a scout go on a 4-kill streak, I guess. So
That's huge. That's
I
big.
know, actually,
Tell them to clip that.
Which team?
Red.
Oh. Damn, they probably just didn't know how to hold IT.
I wanna see the footage of this to know, because this looks like it was pretty quick.
Oh, I feel confident that
I
we
feel
are gonna...
confident that that isn't gonna happen to us.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. Here, we're looking at University of New Mexico, right?
Oh yeah, have you looked at the ambassadors team, their new players?
I'm going to look at everybody's stats right now.
There's like one team I was looking, and like they straight up had like an alt account, like it was like a new Steam profile without Team Fortress 2, and the Discord was like completely new.
So you think that's a...
So UMass has newcomer and amateur players in RGL for sixes. Their stats look kind of like 38 out of 51 an amateur, and then it's like 12 out of 27 newcomer. So they don't. It seems just like amateur players. So that tells me that right. Which what I mean is we're pretty much even with them, I would imagine.
Oh.
But I guess UMass just has nothing. This time around, so that's interesting. Let's see what the ambassadors have.
Wait, Witty, you're talking about one of them having an account?
I don't know what team it was. There's someone somewhere. I was looking at them.
I mean, ambassadors have. I'm gonna look at their TF2 hours. Oh yeah. Okay. So ambassadors have, let's see, they have Cobbs, who apparently has 7,000 hours in this game.
7,000?
Apparently. I don't. Apparently, he has no comp experience whatsoever, so I'm very curious about that.
7,000
like-
hours of casual.
And then one of them has a
Or-
private profile, and the others have like between 1,000 and 2,200. So